It's a cold day today. Look at this guy carving stuff. What are you carving?
These nuts. If you ever lost in the wild, or like you go camping and it starts to rain and whatnot, you want to find like a tree or something, a branch that's falling down. If you carve away the top, just a little bit of the top, just like that, you get dry wood. A lot of that stuff is good for starting fires and whatnot when you need to survive.
And as I told you guys, the king of random stuff that you do not need to know in the Bronx. Nobody is gonna get stranded in Central Park and not know their way home. I took a whole week off from everything, from vlogging and everything. I didn't even carry my camera on me, and it's just something that I like to randomly do every once in a while. Cause it's like if you do something every day, like yeah, it's your hobby, do photography every day, videography, whatever. Sometimes it's cool to just like forget about it. Cause when you come back, you have like a different perspective of like, hey, now I wanna do this, now I wanna do that. So there's like a couple minor editing techniques that I picked up from this week. Nothing completely noticeable to the eye, but things that make me feel a little more accomplished. Just random things that I learned. Because I was editing videos and, you know, going back and forth and just messing around with the programs that I use just to build a better understanding.
Yo!
So we decided to take a random walk through Central Park. But the thing with Central Park is that unless you make it your mission, you never really explore everything of Central Park, because a lot of people just decide to go through 59th Street and just go through that entrance. But for the first time ever, I entered the park through the 110th Street stop. And you wanna go down? This place is pretty cool. I never seen this before, but we're in front of a blockhouse. You can't really see it, but apparently it just safeguards a flagpole, whatever. Every now and then I try to bring someone onto the vlog, like a new friend. Omic is his name. I don't think he talks yet. I don't really do this whole urban exploration thing. I would like to. I want to climb into train stations and stuff. Being that today is kind of an exploration day, I'm gonna talk about what I use when I just go out for my street photography and, you know, like to get the kind of pictures that I take. I'll fill you guys in on equipment. So the first thing that I use in terms of street photography, or well, every time I go out and take pictures, is obviously my Canon 70D. Right now what I'm using is the same lens that I use for the vlogging, the 14mm Rockin'. That's my go-to lens right now for everything. Another lens that I hold, that I keep on me, is a 10-18mm. Sometimes I want to catch something a lot more wider. And the main thing about urban exploration is just go out. It looks like there's a little cave right there. It's our little cave there that we found. Who knows what we're gonna find in here? Nothing up here. A little sock. So this little fake cave thing is not a cave, but it has like a nice assortment of rocks. And there's not much space from here to the cave, so that's where the wide angle lens come in. I'll be able to capture everything and still be in distance. This assortment of rocks here, like, it looks cool with my eyes, but after taking a couple pictures, it doesn't really look cool to me. But then you start making mental notes, like what if somebody was up there and we caught a shot like that with somebody standing up there or something. So, you know, you start to visualize what you want. Or maybe from down there, maybe the picture might look dope from down there up here. So from there you just start looking around. The most important thing when you're going out for a photo walk in a place that you're not 100% familiar with is a GPS. State of the art. For me, when I shoot, what's important is like symmetry. So for example, on this side, how we have symmetry. We got the bench on this side, and then we have, it's far. So we can play around with the depth of field. I like to keep everything very symmetrical. Another thing, if we turn right around, is this wall right here. We have like the two trees there, assortment of windows in the very middle. That's what I go for. And this wide angle would help it, because we can catch the whole thing. Sometimes I like to shoot for like a different perspective of a depth of field. So for example, sometimes I might take the shot like this, or I might try to get like a shot from here. Oh, that's bad. Or from here, just to focus on something different. So I might want to focus on this rather than the whole background, or focus in the background rather than this. This would be the change. That's the difference right there. It's not much of an exciting view. It might be exciting for cinematography, but maybe not, but you have to work with it.
I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side. Staying alive was no job, had second hands. Moms bounced on old men, so then we moved to Shaolin Land. A young youth, you're rocking the go-to. No goose, only way I begin to G.O. was drug loot. And let's start it like this, son, rolling with this one. And
most of the times, unless you're like doing like print, like you're printing your pictures out, you don't need the most top of the line camera. My brother is actually using a Nikon D200. For his class, for his time when it came out, and it was an amazing camera. A lot of people were using it for like wedding photography and stuff like that. But the point that I'm trying to get across is that camera has 12 megapixels. Yeah. The camera's 12 megapixel versus mine, I think mine is at like 20, I believe. I don't remember exactly. And he gets really, really dope shots as well. The more important thing is the lens that he has on there. He has an 1870 lens, and it's a 3.5 minimum f-stop. So when you zoom in to 70, your minimum is a 4.5 f-stop. But that 4.5 f-stop is like a 2.8 or 1.8, because being so zoomed in, your immediate background is blurred out. So you can still have like a nice dramatic effect as far as like blurring the background and having your subject in full focus. So the lens is definitely an important key factor. I think that pretty much wraps up my lesson for street photography. Other things that I carry in my bag, we carry a flashlight. I have other lenses. I got a 24mm lens, but it's the lens type that I was telling you guys about before, my old film lenses. So this right here is from how cold it was outside, and now it's hot in here. We literally walked from 110th Street, and we're on 59th right now. Taking a little break. I can't wait to hear what the audio is like with this wind back and forth, and the mic just bouncing on the camera itself. We're gonna head on the train right now. We're about to head home. Put together this little well, it's gonna be part of it, so show you guys a little bit of how I edit my pictures after a shoot day of street photography. Let's head home.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Marley Marl. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock.
So I'm back home. I'm gonna get on to editing some of the pictures now. So first things first, when it comes to editing the pictures, I always edit using Lightroom. I already imported everything. I'm just gonna choose a random shot to go through this real quick. I always like to set my exposure right. I like for a little more darks to be in the mix. My contrast, I like my contrast. I like to bump it up. My shadows, I'm gonna make this picture like nice and soft. I clear up my shadows. We're gonna put them on the lighter side so we can bump up the contrast and then bring them back in later. So the clarity is something I like to bump up also. Some other people that I've seen online that do similar process like to take down the vibrance. I don't really care for it, so I always, if I do happen to bring it down, I always bring it down like around an 8. This right here, we're gonna look for RGB. We're gonna take care of everything at the same time. We're gonna bring the blacks up and the whites, we're gonna bring them down a little bit. In the middle, we're gonna mess around with it until we get something we like. Split toning, it depends on the occasion. I mess around with it a little bit. I always start anywhere around 30 or 50. 50 more preferable, so it can be at the very middle. I can go hours trying to fix this up, but I know that if I go with yellow or orange on top, I go with greens or blues in the bottom, and then adjust the balance. If you want a little more yellow, then you do red. In this case, it's a little too dominant, so we're gonna bring it down. It gives it more like a bluish feel to it. It makes it feel softer. Aside from that, anything else you want to add to it? If you want to add some grain on it, you can add grain to it. If I add grain, it's very minimal, just to say it's there. That's really about it. That's how I edit my pictures whenever I do my street photography. That's pretty much it for the day. And go out and shoot. And if you do go out and shoot, let me know. We'll go shoot together. I'm always open to shooting with different people. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and share this.